Hello everyone, and welcome to some MiSTer FPGA news. This week, we will be talking about future Data East arcade games that will include Caveman Ninja and RoboCop 2, an alternate Game & Watch core, RaidenDX, Geo Pocket and N64 core developments, and more. So let's get to it. Darren O and Attract17 are starting to work on a new project. Thanks to supporters, Attract17 picked up a working PCB for RoboCop 2. Implementing this game on MiSTer will also have the nice side effect of adding more games that use similar hardware. Other games that can come out of this core are Caveman Ninja. I first knew about this game as Joe and Mac because of the Super NES port. Death Braid, the sequel to Hippodrome. Crude Buster. Vapor Trail. Dark Seal. And The Cliffhanger, Edward Randy. If you want to help support the development of these cores, check the description for Attract17's and Darren's support pages. Adam Gastineau is developing a new Game & Watch core with more features and documentation. One of the new features will be the ability to deliver multiple CPU types. The current supported CPUs are SM510 and SM5A, which are supported by 33 mainline games. In addition to Game & Watch systems, Adam also mentioned the possibility of developing cores for Tiger Electronics series of handhelds. In the post mentioning the Tiger handhelds, he says, "I feel bad because some of these CPUs/devices may simply need to be enabled and they'll just work in the core. But there's a lot to test, and I can't commit to that right now. It would help if I had good info on the devices, instead of mostly reading MAME code." Attract17 posted an update on Pramod's Williams Z Unit arcade core running NARC. The post shows the core booting up, going past the self-test screen, and loading the test menu. It's mentioned that the core is very close and Pramod is starting to debug the ROM check failure. Developer Infidelity has been working on fixing issues with his port of NES Zelda to the Super NES. The issue should now be resolved because people have already been completing the port from start to finish. If you are interested in the Zelda NES port with MSU1 chip support so you get an upgraded CD quality soundtrack, you can join Infidelity's Discord to discuss the port and obtain the needed files. Infidelity is doing some amazing work with porting NES games and creating ROM hacks. He has also ported Mega Man 2 to the Super NES that also includes a CD quality soundtrack, and even modified Zelda 2 for the NES to give it a completely new feel that includes new items, concepts, new sound engine, and more. So it looks like we might be getting RaidenDX on MiSTer sometime in the future. Attract17 posted about receiving a PCB with a NEC V33 CPU, thanks to @SuperKawabunga. Darren O will use this NEC V33 to verify against his implementation for their RaidenDX project. On Patreon, Otego mentioned that almost all the monochrome Geo Pocket systems are now implemented. Only things missing now are the horizontal blank interrupt and the DMA logic. Otego has more details regarding the core on Patreon and also details about releasing the Analog Pocket System 16B core. A big update to Whistle's MiSTer FPGA Remote script was recently pushed. This script now allows you to load up a browser on your phone or computer and change INI settings. I feel this is a much better experience to editing your MiSTer INI file than modifying a text file or using the text-based INI editor on the MiSTer itself. You can just load up a browser on your phone or computer and change the settings. Check out all the details on the MiSTer FPGA forum post. Whizzle has created a whole suite of tools to improve the way you use your MiSTer. You can enable his scripts using Update All, or you can download them manually from GitHub. I created a short overview on Whizzle scripts in a previous video if you're interested in checking that out, and if you find Whizzle scripts helpful, you can support Whizzle on Ko-fi. 3 very simple floating point operations have passed tests on the MiSTer FPGA Nintendo 64 core. Robert, the developer, also mentions that all transfer operations between CPU and FPU are also implemented. He's now laid the groundwork to ease work for the more difficult parts. Robert also posted an article on Patreon going over all the technical details for the FPU progress. This FPU has only been implemented in software so far. Robert mentioned the FPGA work will take longer. So that's it for this episode. I provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure you also check out RetroRGB.com to see my MiSTer News videos in blog form and to get more retro related content. And if possible, support them on Patreon too. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and its bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.